Hey, so how's everybody? Y'all all doing good? This is a mod that I jumped on really quickly because, well, I've been wanting to make it. Someone mentioned it, and I said, well, I was going to make it a long time ago, but I didn't know how to do it. But I believe now we can do it. So what we got here is a model. The model come from Sketchfab, and because I didn't have time to make that, I don't think I could make one look as good as this. This looks really nice. It's like something out of Toy Story. Um, so anyway, this is the model, and let me just make sure I got all the textures saved. Cause I did this a little backwards. I made the textures first because I had to bake some of them, and some of them, like this is the one for the glass. It took a while to figure it out, but after I finally got it figured out, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna save it all, and then when I make the mod, what I'll do is just copy this stuff from here. Let's go into that level where that blender was put. Alright, so we'll need all these materials. I don't need the DAE. And I need to go to the user folder for making a mod. In vehicles, I have a folder I made called Blender. So far, the only thing in Blender is the Blender file. The textures that came with that Blender, that Sketchfab asset. So, pretty much those aren't being used now. So what I'll do is copy all these, including the main.material, and put them in here, as I'll just move them in there. Now the main.material should be the same for, just like it would be for any other material, except instead of levels and small grid and test blender, instead of that, it will need to say vehicles slash blender slash. Oh, you dumb bastard. Put the wrong thing in the wrong place. You shouldn't put the wrong thing in the wrong place if you can help it. It's not good. Alright. Alright, see. Now we're on to something. So now this should be compatible with for the mod. See, normally you don't gotta put a location. If it's a track asset for a level, it's not a mod. It's just you made a rock for a map. You don't have to put that on there. As long as your texture is in the, as long as your material, your object, and the maps are all together in their own folder, you don't have to tell it where it's at. It knows. But mods, I believe, are a little different. They still got to be directed, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. But we should be able to safely delete the stuff out of the Blender mod folder, the assets and textures that came with the Blender file. The only reason the Blender file is saved here well, it keeps it together, but it also, when we export Jbeams, they'll go into this folder too. There'll be a created folder called Jbeam exported or something. Now, someone else asked earlier about about the new Jbeam editor and the old Jbeam editor for Blender, or the importer exporter. So I'll be using the old exporter. Damn, I got 4 blenders open. That's where that's how you lose. That's where all my memory's going, I guess. Damn, even another one. Alright, let's just close them all. Now I'm going to import in the DAE that I already got established in the game. Damn, I just think about that. I'll probably have a little more work to do with the textures. I don't know yet. I also didn't realize I exported 2 pieces of glass. Oh, well, that'll be alright. I just got to realign where things are at. And I don't remember which one I use now. Yeah, see, the whole point of not having to do this. You know what? I'm gonna close the shit. I wasn't supposed to have to do anything to the textures now. They're already done. So, despite whatever they look like in Blender, it's not going to be how they look like when it's in the game. So let's import that back in here. Let's delete the glass. That is not the right glass. It's the old glass. See, all these got textures and stuff. All that stuff's already made. Like I said, it may not look right in here, but it's going to be alright. So if we get rid of the glass and we get to the heart of the blender, we got this little spindle here. Now that's quite a bit of edges and quite a lot of vertices and quite a lot of edges, and well, it's quite a bit. We're not going to use that as a Jbeam. We'll use it as a model. In fact, blade will be the flex body, but we're going to make a more simplified version of this. I'm trying to think the best way, maybe make a mesh cube. You know what? Maybe cylinder. Damn it. Let me do that again. I couldn't see. Cylinder. So it's got to have the right number of faces, or the sides, so that we can, I believe it's got to be an even number. If it's an even number, then if I connect each corner to each corner, there'll be a center dot, a center node. But only if there's 8. I mean, only if there's, you know what I'm saying. Alright, let's get that blade back in here. Alright, we can move that up. Alright, realize the damn thing's not centered. It's alright. But if we're going to move everything, we need to move it all at once, so it all is together. Everything except for our cylinder. If I did that right, our little blade and our thing should be pretty much lined up. Alright, let's rotate it. Now I'm not going to worry about making it exactly that shape there. It'd probably be better to I'll show you. When you do an extrusion and you want it to go a specific direction, you can do X, Y, Z. So when you extrude, it will follow an exact direction. The other one, that's normal extrusion, you can go off in all kinds of directions. But we want this to be precise. And what we're making is the Jbeam for the blade. Now we need a node in the center to be the axis, and there needs to be one at the bottom. So the easiest way to do that is to use the knife, select vertice, select the vertice and go to the other side, press enter. Like that. I will just go ahead and do all of them. And that'll give us a node right there that we can use for the axis. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom. And enter. Alright. So this will be blade Jbeam. And we're going to give it a node prefix of B for blade. Oh, well, Blender's B also. I'll figure something else out for Blender. Let's see. Well, you know what? That's like a letter X, ain't it? Let's just make the prefix X. So in this little data tab here, the Jbeam properties, prefix X. Now let's take the blade, just the blade, without the Jbeam, so that only the blade is what we are focusing on. We need to have its origin set to 3D cursor down here at 0, 0, 0. Make sure your 3D cursor is at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 when you do this. So if it's not already, you'll set the origin to the 3D cursor and apply all transforms so that that origin point is there. That basically is where the pivot is for the game world. Basically, it knows 0 If everything isn't lined up to 0, it doesn't do right. So now we can export this one piece into the Blender mod folder. I'm just going to name this blade, but it's going to be selection only. Now, the Jbeam for the blade need to do the same thing. I need to apply all transforms so it knows where 0 is too, and export Jbeam. Now the new Jbeam importer exporter only does the nodes, so like the nodes would just be the vertexes here. It would export the vertexes, but it wouldn't connect them all to the it wouldn't connect the beams together or make any triangles. That I'm pretty sure that's probably coming soon. So export Jbeam. It says save Blender file first. Well, I already did save it, but I'll save it again, and I'll save it as something else, so just in case. So export Jbeam. Successfully exported one Jbeam file. Now we'll get the Beam editor program. This is what I hope that Blender plugin will replace one day, because it's just a hassle and a half to navigate in here, and for whatever reason it doesn't want to load. There it goes. Now back to our folder for our mod. We're going to put an info file and a pre-filled out Jbeam file. The pre-filled out Jbeam file does not have the nodes, beams, or triangles in it, but it has everything else, the properties that the nodes, beams, and triangles will possess. So we'll copy them into there. The info file, if you want the thing to show up where the cars are closer to the top, put car. Or was it car or vehicle? Oh, vehicle. If you put prop, it's going to show up at the bottom. You put your name there and name of the mod. And this is basically going to be a spinner, but it's going to have a container around it and a removable lid. You don't want all the stuff to get slung out of the Blender. Let's close all this stuff. Now we can put our pre-filled Jbeam into our node editor, node beam editor. You'll see there's no Jbeam or nothing there. That got sent to the Jbeam exported folder. Now we can drag that into here. Using the number keys on the keypad. So we need to identify the node at the top there and the node at the bottom there. So we can tell it to show node names, and that says that's X17 and X16. So looking over here, X17 and X16, we can copy those both. Actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We got to get this into that. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's name our flex body, which is not the Jbeam, but the blade. See, that's what we got to list. So that's going to go here. And we'll just make it group X, since we're using the node prefix X. Down here, group X. So that's where the nodes will go. So we'll go get the nodes. We'll just copy them to the clipboard. And we'll paste them. Then we'll go back and get the beams. And we'll paste them in there too. Then we'll go back and get the triangles. Then we're going to paste them also. Now if we did this right, we should be able to close that file there and refresh, and it'd still be here. That means we successfully got it from one to the other. Alright, let's get that X16 and 17. We'll copy that to the clipboard, hit delete, because you're going to paste it here. And the statement that says fixed false, we're going to put that down there, but we're going to put true. Now, we'll make thrusters by making like 2 of these be thrusters. So I can make the outside be thrusters by just picking 2 vertices or 2 nodes. Let's back up. If you get too close to the thing, it will clip inside. If you want to get closer, you can roll the mouse wheel. So thrusters work by 2 nodes. One is the one end and one is the other end is where the fire comes out. And this is the basic thruster setup, set up to use gas or brake. You can also do clutch or steering input for thrusters. But there's 2 parentheses here. It's probably really hard to see. But the first one will be the one that's, think of a rocket ship. Where do the little people sit and where does the fire come out? So where the people sit, that's the first number, XL19. XL19. And where the fire comes out, that'll be XL9. Now the other side, because you probably want one on either side, maybe even one on all 4 of them, but we'll just copy this here. Oh, that's the brake input. I got it in the brake. That's fine. We can leave it there. We can have it brake for one direction and gas go the other way. So we'll copy this and paste it. And we'll do the same thing. So XR15. XR15. XR25. Now if you do these and you got them flipped around the wrong way, what you think gonna happen? It ain't gonna do nothing, because they're both countering each other. So that's something to keep in mind. 20,000 is the first number. I always forget if it's the first or the second, but one of the numbers is the amount of acceleration total, or the total top speed rather, and the other is the accelerating speed. Like how long does it take to get to that top speed? I just usually leave them both the same. 20,000 is a pretty damn good bit of thrust, considering the thing's only weighing like 4 kilos per node. I guess that's kilogram. So each little node weighs 4 kilograms. The node material is cloth, because for the time being I don't want to hear a bunch of noise. Cloth is pretty much silent. The beam spring and stuff, so all that stuff is set. We got our flex body set. We don't have any reference nodes. Now I could make the reference nodes. I could make them this damn blade, and if you're looking out the camera, you'll just be spinning around with the damn blade. It'd probably make you sick. But I don't have anything else in here to make a reference node with. Let's see. I guess I can. We'll do it like this because I don't want to get nobody sick spinning around like crazy. So we'll copy this. We'll reuse 17 here. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Well, actually, let's make a group. The group will just be REF for reference nodes. And then that number 17. Copy it. That'll be REF. I'm going to move it up a bit. And when I refresh, you'll see it there. Now we got to put one behind it, to the left of it, and one above it. Now the one above it be pretty easy. Just duplicate it. Call this one up. And just make it a little bit above the other. I don't want it to be that high up. That'll be alright, I guess. Alright, now to the left of that, about the same distance, to the left of the reference node, we'll need to go, let's see, left. So it's X, Y, Z, but since Y is that way, then it's the Y that we got to do. So let's do just 2. And then back will be just along the x-axis. Back 2. That's the wrong way. And I gotta put back on there. Yep. Back. I spelled it wrong. So up here, now that we got reference nodes, and you don't have to name them REF, up, left, back. You can name them whatever. Also, if you do this, you'll want these to be anchored. You don't want them falling to the ground or you'll fall with them. So where I've anchored these X and 16 and 17 here, that statement's still valid, so anything that falls under it's still going to be fixed. So that'll be fine. Now let's save this thing and load it up. I think I got everything. I don't think I'm forgetting nothing. Hopefully we won't have any issues. Oh, let me close the game. Shit. Too late. Let me delete that out of there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you should have two things. You know what? We'll just put it in a different level. But I'm going to delete the temp folder. I don't want that to be anywhere. I don't want that texture to be a problem, so I'm trying to undo the way I did it backwards. we should be able to safely load it now. Yeah, there would be no mesh there because I moved it out of the damn folder. Blender. I thought it was going to be up there at the top. So there's our little spigot. And if I press the brake, now it's on the ground because there's no other Jbeam anywhere in existence. This is, for all it knows, this is the only part that exists. So pressing the brake pedal, that damn thing's spinning so fast, it's distorting the fabric of space and time. Look at that. Nah, it's because the spring strength ain't good enough for that. It's pretty cool though. You could cause some havoc with that damn thing, just like it is. Get some big old vehicle like a semi in there and spawn it next to it, and let's see, let it slap it one good time. You know what? Why just do one when you can do a couple of them, right? So this is a neat little trick if you don't know how to do it. As long as you got more than one vehicle, you can tab to the vehicle that you want to drive. Hold on, let's get that thing to stop. It's getting ahead of itself. Damn, that's pretty damn flimsy, isn't it? So you can give it gas, and while holding gas, tab to the other vehicle. And when you shift R, it'll continue to go. It just won't do it with the third vehicle, unless you got a fourth object. Oh, you know what? I'm hitting the wrong key, folks. Yeah. That's a pretty flimsy piece of blade, isn't it? Let's go back. Let's make it heavier. A lot heavier. Let's give it a lot more beam spring. A lot more damping. There might be too much spring. Make the deform amount a lot. So it takes a lot to deform it. And let's reinforce it by going to the beams, going down here to the bottom where the beams ended, and with the add single, putting our cursor there, we can connect that beam to that beam, and this one to this one. Now these don't have collision, so they're not going to interfere. They're just going to be like braces that keep these things from collapsing on one another. You can think of one of them bridge constructor games if you want. That'll kind of give you an idea. The thought process behind this is just like if you're making something you don't want it to collapse, you're just reinforcing it. I believe that'll make it pretty strong. We'll just see if that does it. Oh, I'll also probably increase the thrust to another 100,000. Well, it was 20,000, now it's 120,000. So it's gonna spin quick. Probably so quick it's gonna mess up the game. Now to update a mod, you have to hit Control R. Damn thing still broke. Alright, well it's better than what it was. Let's make it heavier. Another big number there, another big number here. Give it more damping, and hopefully this will do it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good there. These are pretty heavy vehicles, right? So I think it's a success so far. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. Now the part of the thing that is the cylinder glass, I'll make a Jbeam for that, and that should be pretty simple. It should be pretty straightforward. Just be another cylinder, mesh cylinder. That should be good. It ain't got to be perfectly round or anything. Move it up. I don't want it to look like the cars poke through it at any point. So I'm going to scale it just slightly smaller than the model. But I need to make sure the height is enough. So that they get access to that blade down there. We got to scale it. Now the bottom, taper that down a bit. And the lid will go up there. We'll put a lid. We'll make a lid also. So this will be glass Jbeam. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We got to do something first. See, its normals are flipped, and see it's got a polygon at the top. So we need to remove that polygon. That face. And then if I show you the face orientation, you see that it's not inside out like it should be. So we'll go to mesh, normals, flip, and edit mode, and that'll flip the normals around. Now, like we did with the other thing, we got to apply all transforms so that its origin is set. This will probably give me an n-gon error, since that is not a quad or a triangle at the bottom, but I'll let you see what an n-gon error is. Prefix G for glass. And if we try to export this Jbeam, error, mesh contains n-gons, only triangles and quads are supported. Just go to edit mode, select it, go to edit mode, hit A to select all, or select the one with the quad, which would be that. I mean, that is not a quad or a triangle. Face, triangulate faces, and it'll triangulate them. So now we can export it. Successfully exported one Jbeam. Now that we got a Jbeam for the glass, we can now send the glass, the DAE of the glass. So we'll select the glass and we'll apply all transforms to it as well. And since the blade is already in the game, we need to select the blade and the glass by themselves. Export DAE. Overwrite DAE that's in there. And you might be saying, well, where's it at? Well, we didn't put it in the Jbeam yet. So we gotta go back to the Jbeam. So we got to go back to the export folder and get the glass, drag it into there. And I didn't make it low enough. See that? Now I can turn self collisions off and it won't collide with itself. That'll probably be what I'll do, rather than try to move it. I don't know what y'all think. Let's just move it. Do it right. I know what I did. See the blade, the Jbeam, the blade for the. Where's the glass bottom stop? 'Cause I don't want. If I don't want nobody to fall through the damn glass. The glass goes all the way on down there, so. Or does it? Yeah, it does. Alright. We just need to move the Jbeam. Just scale it. should be good. I'm going to pull in the bottom of that bit, taper it in a bit. Alright, apply all transforms and export it again. So what I'll do is close it in here. And reacquire it. So now it's sitting in there like it should. Now it's actually, we can make it anchored or not. If we don't anchor it, it can go anywhere. It won't stay in place, but we can anchor part of it so that it can swivel a bit like a real blender by just anchoring maybe 2 of the nodes at the bottom and using like support beams to be like springs to hold the other so that it can wobble a bit. But either way, we got to get the nodes, beams, and triangles over here. Now we got a new flex body. The new flex body is glass. And until you list your flex body, you're not going to see it in the game. You're not going to see nothing until that's listed. We'll give it group G. And so we'll have to go to group, copy this group here, name, and before the true statements start, this will be group G. We'll go back and get our nodes and paste them and get our beams, paste them in the beams section. We'll put them under there, and our triangles, collision triangles. And like before, if we did this correct, we can close this now and refresh, and it should still be there. Let's anchor a couple of the nodes at the bottom, just so that it does not move a bit, but just a little bit. So let's go up here. Let's see, G14. We'll anchor that one. What's on the other side? G1, G1, and GR11. Now you could just do this too. You could just put a true statement for the ones that are gonna be fixed and then put false after. You don't have to actually move them if you don't want to. And then we need some support. So the ones that are on that side, let's see, GL10. We're going to make a new node. we'll put a letter Z so we don't get confused which one it's a copy of. And we're going to move that one out a bit so it's like away, maybe farther away than that. And then we're going to duplicate it again, and we'll put a ZZ in there, but this time it's going in the negative direction. Now these two will be anchored also. But going to our add single beam here, we'll go back down to the beam section. Now the beams that make all this stuff is pretty damn strong, so we're going to have to give these their own unique properties. So we'll borrow this so we can use it down here too. But we'll make the beam spring a lot less, and the beam deform highly probable. Well, it's probably reduce the damping too. So now with our cursor here, with that selected, we can like connect the top of that thing to that, to that, to that, that one to that one, that one to that one. The ones there and there are anchored, so it should only be able to swivel left and right, but the swiveling will be limited to the spring strength of them springs. So they should probably be farther out than what they are, because that isn't very stable like that. So we'll move them out a little bit farther. I'll just make that a 13. That should do it. That should be good. So we should be able to save now and update our mod in game. Now all that time I spent on that damn texture and it ain't right now. Oh, damn. You saw it was right in the preview video. Oh. Well, it should be right. Should nothing have changed. It sure did look better in the damn as a DAE in the game, other than not being a mod. It looked, well, it don't look right now. We also got some issues with the Jbeam for that thing. should be the same damn thing. Shouldn't have done this. You know what? I'll fix it later. I'll fix it. I'll get it like it's supposed to be for sharing the mod. Something to do with the alpha. It's like I've seen this happen before. You'll have your alpha set, or you think you got it set, but it's only set because it's like glitched. Like it wouldn't normally be correct or whatnot. It would be off for some crazy reason. Perceived it to be right because it was glitched, is what I'm trying to say. what I think? This will be fine for now. I'll fix it. Like I said, I'll fix it later. So we need to make this stronger. the supports for this because it's just all wobbling everywhere. So we'll go back to add single beams. We'll go to underneath here, and we'll do like we did with the other thing. Now will it wobble a bit? Yes, it will. Move them damn trucks out of here. Yeah, that wasn't expected. Yeah, you usually don't want your model to do that. That's not a good sign. I think something stuck. I think I didn't put the group. I think these new Z's down here don't have a new group. Yeah, they don't. I forgot to put a new group name for them. So they think they're part of the glass still. So we got to change that. Put a Z there. Yeah, because it'll think it's all the same mesh, and if that thinks that's part of that, well, when that moves, it's gonna still be connected. It's gonna warp it really a lot. So now it shouldn't have no problem. Should been just I don't know what the hell I'm talking about doing. Let's see. Oh, when I put those X's there, those are part of that group. Group G's the glass. That's the anchors. That's the reference nodes. That should be fine. Wow, something's anchored that shouldn't be. Now the only thing holding it are the beams that are see how I got it right. Ah, that little son of a bitch. I hate when he spawns. Um, so you see those are the ones that are kind of stabilizing it, but not, right? And that was why I anchored one of them that I did so that it could move, but not move like that. I guess I could just, you know what, we'll just do this. We'll make copies of these. We'll put another letter Z, another letter Z. I know where these are going to be. Alright, them will connect to them. If you ever forget to put your cursor down there, they're going to all get sent to the top. And they can't be up there. If anything's up there other than that bracket, it ain't going to load or it'll crash. If you forget, and I do sometimes, all you need to do is just move them back where they're supposed to go. Anytime you change something, you delete stuff and you want it to update here, hit refresh. And this thing will tell you a lot of times, if you look, it'll tell you if you got an error and what the error line is, what line it is, and what you need to do to get it resolved. Well, not so much what you need to do to get it resolved, but it'll give you an idea what you might need to do. Alright, I think that'll do it. So now we got more supports. You can see them now, while still allowing it to wobble, but not that damn much. Let's look at the beam tension, compression, extension. See, compression extension shows how much stress. This is the old stress, but it still shows how much stress. So you can see it's we need to make it stronger. You know what? I'll redesign the damn anchors. Let's just put the car in there because I'm anxious to see what happens. I'll fine tune all that later. I think you get the gist of it all. And I'll fix that glass because right now it's not right. So what kind of car we're going to put in there? I don't know. What y'all think would be a good one? I'm not one for having many mods, you know, so how about the police? We'll put them in there. He'll be our first victim. Let's see. Let's make sure that there's collision. Well, it ain't going out yet. It should go out. Alright, folks, this is it. This is it. Yo, you want to hear the sound of metal, right? Now we can change the node material to metal. It'll make a sound now. Oh, friction coefficient. I should probably make that a lot less. I didn't think about the friction. How much grip it's got on what it touches. Self collisions is off, by the way. But it's fine. Let's update our mod. Some more cars in there. Alright, let's get them all in there. Maybe put that one closer to the bottom. Something else, I tell you. Probably gonna get unstable pretty quick. Lasted longer than I thought. snagged. I'll get it finished when I get up. I'm tired of this thing all day. But I'll get it finished and I'll post it because I want to get the glass fixed and get the rest of the model in there. And I don't have really anything else to do with the rest of the Jbeam. I mean, the rest of the Jbeam stuff is pretty much going to be anchored except the lid. But I don't see anything getting flung out of there, so it probably won't matter if there's a lid on there or not. But I'll still put it on there. Artistic flair. Let's reset them all. Oh, I know somebody out there wants to know, well, what happens if you put the thruster up a whole lot, like a milliones, like a milliones, you know? Well, I'll leave you with this. I'll show you, and then that'll be it for this video. I forgot to hit Control R. Yeah. Now the game does do better. motion, I believe. It had more time steps to calculate. Oh, what the hell? Shit. Okay.